Trevor, AEW Grand Slam from New York. We've got a bunch of matches to talk about. Obviously, the big dream match, Bryan Danielson, Nigel McGuinness. We got Young Bucks taking on Will Ospreay and Kyle Fletcher for the AEW World Tag Team Championships. Jon Moxley, Darby Allin going head-to-head for a title shot on the line. You got Mariah May, Yuka Sakazaki for the AEW Women's World Championship. Hook versus Roderick Strong for the FTW Championship. You got Prince Nana showing up to talk about Swerve. Jeff Jarrett, Hangman Page, Lumberjack strap match, and Kazuchika Okada, Sammy Guevara, Continental title eliminator. Oh boy.
It's a lot. It's a lot.
It's a lot. But, Trevor, we also got to check in on the ticket sales. Ticket sales for this show, not great.
Yeah, I kind of figured.
Out of their current capacity, according to WrestleTix, is just about 7,000, and they've sold just over 6,000 tickets, like slightly over. So, bad ticket sales for this show. There's no way to hide it. We're not going to lie to you and say they're great, but, Trevor, it continues this correlation. You see a stacked card, but you see like diminishing ticket sales. What do you attribute that to? Like, why is AEW having such a hard time selling tickets?
It's interesting because the ticket sales have plummeted more recently, but the show was overall getting better, and like the product, I swear, is still getting better. I think honestly, I think there are less wrestling fans and more wrestling entertainment fans. To be honest with you,
I mean, that is true. Yeah, I agree.
yeah, I think there are way more wrestling entertainment fans. You don't see a lot. I mean, even with the indie shows, you don't see a lot of turnouts with them like you used to back in the day. Like, I mean, they are some that do really well, and then there are some that kind of miss. I mean, and I honestly believe that is because, like I just said, there are more wrestling entertainment fans than there are actual wrestling fans. Like me and you, we're seasoned fans. We're not the casual fan. We want to watch the product. We want to watch a good product. That's why we watch AEW because they have the better matches. They may not always have the better storyline. They may not always have the better.
They cooking
Right
with
now, they
AEW
have
when it comes to
some of the
storylines
best
right
ones,
now.
but they may not always have that that pizzazz that some of the matches on WWE have. But the in ring ability is always there. Like I can't speak. AEW is always like, for as long as I know, when as far as comes to actual pure wrestling, has been up here. Like, don't get me wrong, you have some good wrestling matches in WWE. You have some good matches put on, but if you're talking about actual wrestlers, actual wrestling matches, you watch AEW. You don't watch WWE. There's more entertainment at WWE. But and I think that might have something to do with it. You can't really say it's all the women's division because the women's division has stepped up. The women's division has been worked on a lot, and I give Tony Khan a lot of credit for that. It might be because of some of the things we've said before, like they don't really work on some of the storylines. They don't really work on, like they just throw matches together that were seemingly good matchups, but there's no build up to it. It could be because, I mean, just a lot of the rigmarole, a lot of the like controversy backstage with AEW. It's a lot of things that it could be, but my biggest standout is probably because it's not an entertainment show; it's a wrestling show.
I think. I mean, yeah, I think that's definitely like that's a critical piece of it. To be honest, like the fact that they are like the second biggest company, like, and WWE's been around for a while. A byproduct of that is when WWE is doing very well, they are going to have more of a market share because there's going to be less disgruntled fans seeking, to watch something else. Now, where I think, and again, I'm bringing my like PR brain into this, right?
Of course.
Like, I think like a lot of it is also like marketing. I don't think AEW markets their show as well. I think like if I okay, genuinely, if Tony Khan, he would never do this, but if Tony Khan called me in and was like, "Hey, what's one thing you would fix about AEW or this TV show or whatever?" I'd be like, "Not even the show, bro. Your marketing. Like it
Yeah,
is god awful."
yeah, it is.
Because the most consistent criticism you will hear about AEW shows is either I didn't know they were in town until it was too late, or it was like right around like a week beforehand or whatever, or
Right,
um I want to go, but I don't know if the people I want to see are going to be there.
right.
That for me, like that, as someone who's a viewer, I feel that. I feel that, and I look. I've gone to a shit ton of AEW shows, right? Like, but at the same time, I'm also like, if they ever came to Baltimore, I'd be like, okay, I'm going, but also like, I'm not gonna say like, oh, I'm going, and I know I'm gonna see, the Young Bucks, or I know I'm gonna see Hangman Page, because you don't know if you're going to the show, you don't know who's gonna be on the show, and that's a problem. That is a legitimate problem, and it's a product of a lot of things. It's a product of their growth and them not adapting. Like before, it was easy to do with Dynamite because you only had one show a week to promote. You only had one show a
Right.
week to book. You could book Dynamites weeks in advance. You could be like, guys, Grand Slam in 3 weeks. We are going to have X, Y, and Z match guaranteed. All that stuff. Like you could plug that, promote that. But we're
Yeah, you
at a
can.
time where you got Collision, you got Rampage. You're still trying to promote. You have all these pay per views you're trying to promote. Especially recently, Trevor. This has been a packed month for AEW.
Oh, absolutely,
Like
dude.
you're telling me you're trying to fit in like within almost like 4 or 5 week range. You're trying to fit in Grand Slam, AEW Dynamite 5 year anniversary, which is next week. That
Yeah,
show is happening. Oh my God, we're old. Um, all in,
not claiming
all out,
it.
and like those are four major shows that you just did in the span of just a couple of weeks. So if you don't have the marketing, if you're not reaching the people in those towns, you can't be mad at the result. Because at the end of the day, it's
No.
good enough pro wrestling is not good enough. You have to do what they did, bro. You have to do what they did back in 2019 when AEW Dynamite was coming to town, Trevor. We knew it
Oh,
was
absolutely.
it was all over DC.
It was a big thing. Like it, everyone said it. I remember the very first show, like you said, when they first came to DC, dude. That's all when I because I used to work at Capital One Arena. I've said this before, and they talked about it. They literally talked about it for like weeks. Like this is happening. This is happening. Blah blah blah. It's just a lot. It was just a lot. Like you're like, oh, what the fuck? Like, when is this show coming? Like, whatever. And like, and this just goes to prove to you how big that show was. There were actually like stars, not like just wrestling stars, actual like stars, like the Kevin Smith and what's
Silent
the name,
Bob, baby.
the other guy from Jay and Silent Bob. Like they were both there, and like you had regulars from DC. You had Wale, you had Genuine, there was a lot of guys there with so quote unquote star power. Like, and they came to see this new wrestling product. Like, but like you said, the marketing has died down a lot. Like I didn't even know the 5 year anniversary was coming up. I had no idea. I knew it was coming. I mean, just But
Trevor.
is it gonna be? Is it
Oh
gonna be in DC?
no. Oh no, it's gonna be in like I don't even know where it's gonna be. It's Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh. Um, Ricochet versus Osprey is happening a week from now. Doesn't feel like it, does it?
I didn't know that.
Exactly.
it's,
But,
nah,
I mean,
it's
again, we'll see. But like, the product is good. It's just they gotta show people the product. They gotta let people know they're coming, and I think that's a big problem that they've had. That they need to figure out.
yeah.